Hey everybody. Hey everybody. Been quite a long time since I've done a CD review, and part of that is just because I just really haven't been listening to a ton of new music. Really just been digging back into my roots and going back to stuff I haven't really been listening to in a while. But I felt really compelled to talk about a new CD, or new to me anyway, about a band that's definitely been making some headlines, basically just out of their comparison to Led Zeppelin. And it's kind of like, what band was it? It was Jet, like back in the day, that was getting so many comparisons to AC/DC. It's that sort of thing where, it almost gives them so much more spotlight because of it. But I don't know, this time around I really think that there's something a bit more genuine about it. And the band is called Greta Van Fleet. When I initially checked them out, I was a little skeptical, and I thought it sounded okay. I definitely appreciate when a band actually goes out and learns instruments these days. So many bands out there, or so many musicians. I mean, there's not a lot of talent other than just like a voice these days. And I don't know, there's just not a lot of instrumentation and just rock and roll and stuff in the music these days. And I'm really happy that a band like this, even if they're getting compared to something else, I'm really glad that they're getting their name out there. Because bands like Foo Fighters and stuff like that, they're pretty much like the last ones out there. They're trying to hold on and keep rock and roll in the spotlight, and it's kind of hard when you get just all this other pop garbage on the radio. That's pretty much all everybody really cares about these days. But anyway, yeah, the album is called From the Fires. I bought it today, and I've already listened to it twice. And I gotta say, I'm really surprised, but I think it's a lot better than I initially gave them credit for. I mean, when I saw that first headline or two, I checked out a couple songs, and I thought it was cool, but I was just like, it really is just like a Led Zeppelin ripoff. But this just was. It was at the record store I was at today, and it was just like one of the front things. I didn't go looking for it, and I was just like, oh yeah, that band. Yeah, why not? I'll give them some money. And I got to be honest, I'm really glad I did. After listening to it through a couple times, I definitely get the Led Zeppelin comparisons, but there's definitely more to it. I think the songwriting is pretty strong. There's a lot of soul in the music. I mean, not a lot of bands can purposely sound like a Led Zeppelin or an AC/DC, if they really wanted to. I mean, it seems like it's something that would be easy, but it's really not always the case. The singer, without a doubt, is definitely trying to sound like Robert Plant. And even in interviews that I've been reading lately, they're saying that, like, we get the Led Zeppelin comparisons, but none of us were even really that influenced by them. And, they weren't even like any of our favorite bands or anything like that. But maybe that's true for the other musicians, but I really feel like the singer in this band here is purposely trying to sound like Robert Plant. And maybe he'll admit it, or maybe he already has and I haven't seen it, I don't know. But there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that he is influenced by him, and he is trying to sound like him. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, people say that I sound like certain people all the time, and you got to get your influences from somewhere. You got to come from somewhere. And while there are those comparisons, I think he's definitely doing his own thing. And I think he really has a solid voice. I really think that he has a great control over his voice. And granted, they've only been a band for a few years, but I think if they keep going and 5-10 years down the line, I think he's going to be an even stronger singer, and I think he's going to have an amazing control over his voice compared to now. it'll be really interesting to see where these guys end up. And I only realized, just recently, from looking through the booklet, that the singer, the guitar player, and the bass player are all related. I don't know if they're brothers. I didn't look too far in, but yeah, they're all related. So that definitely explains, just the connection and just the overall vibe of the songs. You can definitely feel like these people have been playing together for a long time. I don't know. I mean, I just get a good vibe from the whole album. I think it's got great production. It's definitely not just like a raw album. There's a lot of little production things hidden in there, just like a lot of little effects, vocal effects here, guitar effects there, a lot of like backing like choirs and stuff in certain parts. It really just makes it feel like a very professional sound, and it really does have like the early 70s vibes to it, and just with today's production. So it really is just a great sounding record. That's why I've already listened to it a couple times. I did read that a couple of the songs were covers. Both songs I had never heard before. And honestly, going through the album a few times, I wouldn't have noticed that they were covers. I would have thought that they were original songs. One of the songs is called Meat on the Ledge. I looked it up real quick. It looks like it was by Fairport Convention. I'd never heard of them. And then the second one was A Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke. And both of these are very old songs. And they really made them their own. They didn't just do a straight cover. They really transformed it to make it sound like them, which is great. It's not always an easy feat. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a really solid record. It's not super long. I mean, I don't know how long it is. Probably like 25 minutes, maybe 30. I'm not sure, but it's a great collection of songs. It's just straight up rock and roll. I think there's a lot of great variety to the album. I was expecting kind of just like 8 songs that all sounded pretty much the same, but track number 3, for example, Flower Power, has a really awesome feel to it. I think it's one of the stronger songs on the record, and it's more of like a ballad, not really a ballad, but it's more of like a acousticy, like almost a little folky kind of song, like Led Zeppelin would do. Another really good song is the last track, Black Smoke Rising, which is probably my favorite song on the album. It's just got a really great chorus and just a great feel overall. I don't have a lot to criticize other than the fact that, yeah, they do sound like Led Zeppelin, but sometimes having more of a good thing isn't something to really cry about. I'm not really complaining. Yeah, it's just good. It's hard to really knock it. So if you checked it out already, let me know what you think down below. And if you haven't, check out a couple songs. I think they're really going to be making waves. I keep hearing about them more and more, and it's definitely a band I think that's going to go somewhere. So thanks for watching, and if you got any suggestions for other CD reviews or anything like that, leave them below, and I'll see what I can do. See you later.